mentoring a lot of people at different experience segments. Oh, like almost I played different roles also. Okay. There were some projects where I acted like a tester. There were some projects where a UI as a server, then as a DevOps resource for some of the projects. So across different roles, I really got chance to work, and that made me to really like grow more. Okay, so rather than just sticking to one or two particular things, so that really opens up a lot of other angles also for us. Okay, so this is how the journey has been, and chalo, it's already 6 minutes done. I will be streaming it. It's already streamed. Now let's get started. So firstly, I'll go through the questions which were asked in yesterday's session. Okay, so going through the link. Fine. Okay, here it is. Okay. So firstly, now with regards to the IT industry, now let's see kya doubts hai public ko. Okay, the point is it's always required to get these doubts sorted. Okay, because otherwise you will go through a lot of painful experiences of your own life, and in the end the conclusions will mostly be same. Okay, a bit here and there, that's it. So there is a smart way of living, which is ki always try to learn from others who have gone through, and then whatever comes from there, on top of that you add your experience and try to go forward. Okay, so what I have experienced in my 12 years, if you take all of my knowledge and then on top of that you build your knowledge, so you can do a lot more in the next coming 12 years. Okay, that's how it is. So maybe by 8 years you will be able to be where whatever I know, you will be very great in that. Plus on top of that you will get additional time. And let's say if you don't learn based upon other people's experience, so your progress in life is going to go really slow. Okay, so yes, you will learn on your experience, you are smart, you are everything, but you will grow slowly because your process will be time taking. Okay, and that's where, guys, all throughout my life also I look for people who are 10 years ahead than me at any given point of time and try to understand what they do, what is their thought process, what they behave, what their actions are, and accordingly I try to implement that in myself as well. Okay, and the same thing I will be suggesting to you guys to do as well. Okay, so chalo, we will get started. So yes, yesterday we brought the Scrum Master Shiva Raju. Okay, and yeah, so somebody said okay, thank you Shiva for the valuable insights. Okay, pretty good. Next, second question. Okay, what is story pointing? Now, as part of yesterday's topic, what IT industry said is, in the previous approaches, when people used to give very precise estimates, like it will take 8 hours to complete or 16 hours to complete. So there were a lot of cases where it used to take more time or less time. Okay, so it was not really possible. Firstly, it is like doing precise estimation used to take a lot of time and be painful. And then whatever people concluded, it will be taking, let's say, 2 days, 3 days. On top of that, the realistically, it used to shift a lot. Okay, and then Agile said, ki, bhai, let's not try to be very perfect in doing estimations. We will try to do vague estimations, nothing but just guesswork. Okay, and it is okay even if it goes here and there. So that is what was the concept of Agile, because let's not spend that much time, high level pe karte hain, and accordingly let's try to get whatever the project needs. And then they said, okay, then how do we do it? So then they introduced the topic called as story pointing. Well, let's introduce something story pointing, and using that we will be able to high level pay check it out. Okay, now fine, it's just another way of estimating it. Estimating is nothing but how much time it will take to finish certain kind of work. Okay, but with Agile, along with time factor, they said even you consider some other areas. Okay, nothing but how much of risk is involved. Okay, and how much of complexity is involved. So with story pointing, so just know it is a different way of, again, estimating the work, but it is built upon 3 factors. One is how much time it is going to take. Next, how much risk is involved. Okay. Next, how much complexities it contains. Okay. Why? Because if you say without knowing this risk and complexity, let's say in an older model, you will tell 2 days it will take to finish. But if this task has more complexity or some risk involved, so there are like practical observations while the 2 days are happening, because of this complexity, it will take additional time. Okay. And many people were not considering that, and that is where problem was there. So Agile said ki, while you give this number, the story point is a unique number, and like we discussed yesterday, it's a Fibonacci number. Okay. So there are multiple patterns of story pointing also. Popular used one is Fibonacci. Okay. For some projects, they might follow a different numbering sequence as well, but majority of the project follows Fibonacci. And like they say, finally derive this number. And this number will talk about how much time it takes, how much complicated the ticket is, and how much risk it involves. And accordingly, you give this number. Okay. Now, how you get value out of it? It is like yesterday we said 2 weeks of sprint will be there. For that sprint, you pick, let's say, 5 features to be completed. Okay. For that sprint, you are deciding 5 features to be completed. Now, these 5 features, okay, will have some sum of total story pointing, right? Every of this feature will have one number associated with it. So you will estimate time taken, risk, complexity, and give one number, let's say 5. Then this will have 8. This will have something. So against every requirement, one number, nothing but story point will be there. But if you sum this total up, 5 plus 7 plus X plus Y plus Z, in the end, it gives you one concrete number, okay, which is nothing but the sum of story pointing of all features which will be done in that sprint is termed as velocity. How people use this value of story pointing is when velocity starts coming in picture. Okay? So initially, let's say the total sum came like 40. Now, what is assumed ki, okay, this team is delivering 40 story points of work per sprint. Okay. Now, what will happen is next sprint, if the same team works upon features, ideal expectation is whatever features they take, the total sum should again be around 40 itself. Okay. So by that way, what will happen is the performance of the team, okay, are they going in a consistent manner, or is the performance improving, or is the performance going bad? That kind of data can be taken out. So if the story pointing is happening, we get this final number. The number is called as velocity. Okay, per sprint, this team can do 50 story point of work. And then let's say next sprint, if they do like 60 story point, people will be like, oh, they perform better in this sprint. But if the performance goes down, delivery goes down, instead of delivering 50, they delivered 30, then people will be like, hey, there is something going wrong in the team. Initially, they did 50, now it has come down. So nothing but sprint by sprint performance can be very properly measured with this story pointing thing. Okay? And they said it's like not very hard pressed. That's where it's pretty vague, like risk factor consider, complexity consider, but give some number and the team agrees how much that number should be. Okay? So fine, this is how it's a different way of just estimating stuff. Okay? And it is pretty common as well in the industry. And common nahi matlab mandatory. It's required. Without story pointing, Scrum Master kabhi kabhi bula ke kaan ke niche bhi de denga. It's mandatory. It is part of process because it helps to draw velocity and all of those things. So really try to habituate to that. Okay? Okay, fine. Then yesterday somebody said he really very helpful session, like blockbuster session. So looks like RRR ke koi fan hai bete. A blockbuster session, huh? Nice. Okay, next question. So yeah, thank you, Shiva and Tosef. Fine. Okay, next question. Could you share some insights on fun side? You do retro or any other chill and enjoyment part on your team. Okay, so guys, IT is a mixed kind of thing. Okay, seriousness bhi hai, chill time bhi hai. Okay, now always there are two things. what we do. So generally अभी क्या हो गया है, करते करते एक स्टेज आता है, right, when you become like दादाजी of the team. So right now I am like that, दादाजी बन गया हूँ टीम का. Okay, so if I देखो, while in the beginning days, if juniors itself they pull each other's leg, so that is fine. कोई किसी का, if people are making fun of one another, pulling legs, जैसे college mates होते हैं, so that kind of thing happens. But as you grow senior, so I cannot really crack those kind of jokes on people, even though aata hai meko, but I don't tell it. Why? Because if I tell it, it really looks like Tosifia board. So I've stopped cracking those kind of jokes on people, but otherwise previously we used to do. Okay, but dekho, yeah, so dekho, firstly, yes, it's like always meetings may try to maintain the balance between a fun factor and seriousness factor. Your meeting should not always become like very serious kind of, because it will become boring. People will start feeling the pressure, the heat, the tension. तो उसको always your focus should be कि थोड़ा lighter note पे होना चाहिए, तो people are not feeling the tension at work. They should feel okay, challenging है but हो जाएगा. ठीक है? So I would say कि देखो, not specifically how do you introduce fun in this, but one thing always, make sure that in your team there is an environment where pressure is not building up. So people are happy, they are smiling. Challenges might be there, but they'll still, so use the words, congratulate people, empower people, appreciate people. If somebody is doing good within your team, not doing good within your team, appreciate that. And देखो, I highly encourage कि meet not just within office but outside office. ठीक है? For like many, देखो, yes, from the company side, there is going to be reimbursement and money which company will give for this team lunches and parties and moving out. Okay? But there were many cases where I put money from my pocket and said कि team को बाहर जाके just mingle with one another. Okay? So because I know that the more bonded team comes, work will be taken care of itself. Okay, it's required that the team should be bonded. If they work mechanically, that is going to be a problem. Okay? So in fact, like in our company, there are regular cricket matches. Okay? So we book a stage, a full ground, night light में, floodlights में, people go out for that. Okay? Then there are movie nights which used to happen. Abhi COVID के बाद things are recovering back, so again the games and everything started. So we have movie nights very frequently, cricket nights very frequently. After office, people just go to In-Orbit Mall there and just hang out, like games and food and stuff like that. So one thing is, let the people mix with one another. Okay, and not just have work related discussions. Try to even discuss the other aspects of the life. Okay, what is happening? What are the challenges people are facing in their personal life as well? So if that kind of bonding happens, now automatically the team becomes one. But if there are only mechanical things, only work being discussed, such kind of team is not going to perform nicely. Okay? Because a time will come where people will be frustrated and they will stop caring. Okay? Because that bonding never happens. So one suggestion to all you people is mingle closely with the team. Try to hang out with them, not just work related, but other things related. Okay, what are the challenges you are facing? Go have a conversation. And what we do in our meetings is try to keep the situations light. Okay, sometimes crack some jokes, sometimes absorb the seriousness, at times be strict, but over and all mood ko keep it lighter. Okay. Next, during our some of the meetings, we let our team members really discuss their personal aspect of life as well. Okay, so not only their work related discussion. So many meetings mein, for example, yesterday Shiva Raju was there, right? So ek do joke, it's just like that. Are Shiva, I just told you like this, appraisal ke time pe use mat karna ye line. So these kind of just small things, which just creates a laugh on the face of people. So this just keeps happening. It's very spontaneous. A lot of things can happen which you can just do it, but try to pass these kind of statements to maintain a peace in the team. And discuss about the people's a bit personal aspects also. कि भाई क्या चल रहा है life में. There were times के people used to tell me in my team कि okay, now I'm getting into a rent home. ठीक है, I'm moving my home, I'm doing the shifting. तो अभी घर rent वाला घर ढूंढ रहा हूँ. for next 1-2 weeks don't give me any work, मेरे को rent का घर ढूंढना है. So as a manager, this kind of request used to come to me कि भाई मेरे को एकदम light काम दे दो because मैं अभी rent का घर ढूंढ रहा हूँ. If you want me कि मैं खाली work project पे करूँ, then you search rent home for me. So what happens is, if you really bond with the people properly, okay, एक fun हो जाता है, team हो जाती है. So I would suggest कि know people closely, okay, and give surprise treats to one another. Sometimes like थोड़ा out of the box जाके करो, and you will be able to enjoy this industry more nicely. Okay, but yeah, create that kind of team and fun environment so that it feels like coming to work every single day. That's very essential. And one of the thing because of this work from homes for long time, that bonding is not happening in people. Okay, and that is one of a downside of that. So yes, it might have pros and cons, but okay, human beings are created like this. Okay, we bond more when we are actually in touch with one another. So when we are on like looking at one another, discussing it, talking it. And what happened is, during this work from home, we were majorly only work discussions were happening, meetings, call, work discussion. But when you are in office, there used to be a lot of casual discussions. Hi, hello, time pass, this, that. So I felt that kind of environment really gels well in bonding and things. Otherwise, it becomes a pretty mechanical work. Khali kaam kya chal raha hai, kaam kya, and that doesn't count much. Okay? So I would recommend ki hybrid model to minimum should be there, so that you guys can bond nicely and you will enjoy your life. I'm literally telling you, you will enjoy your work a lot and you will have more fun. Okay, so hybrid culture is really something which is worth it. Okay, fine. So this is what I would like to say. Okay, next question. I want to know how DevOps engineer evolve in agile sprint and what needs to be done. Okay, dekho. DevOps role. So yeah, in our project, DevOps is also running in sprints. Okay, but we have a separate team of infrastructure who does only the DevOps related work. Okay, and there will be different kind of projects which the DevOps team is going to do. Nothing but functional teams does this different kind of work. DevOps team does different kind of work. Okay, and whatever is the work coming for the DevOps team, that needs to be again groomed, designed, discussed how to implement, then implement something, and then take it till production, and then it goes to live. Okay, so nothing but there will be different nature of work for DevOps team, which needs grooming, planning, development, and then taking it to production. Okay, now further more clarity into this. Dekho, important thing which a DevOps engineer, and why even like Java guys, you also need to be aware, backend people, because if your teams are small, if you don't get a DevOps person, so a server developer might be expected to jump into these kind of roles. So this is not just for DevOps. Okay, but dekho, okay, what is the nature of work? DevOps takes care of the infrastructure, right? Infrastructure is where your code will be finally deployed and executed on the systems, right? So it could be a Linux machine, Ubuntu machine, Linux machine. Majority of the times, that is how the production machines are. Ubuntu, Linux kind of. Sometimes I've seen Windows machine, but it is very rare. Majorly, the Ubuntu machines will be running in production. Linux, Ubuntu machines. Okay. Now, you need to really know like how this infrastructure should be set up. Okay. Precisely speaking, for DevOps engineer, security is one very critical thing. How many nodes are going to run inside? Nodes are nothing but machines. 1 instance, 2 instance, 3 instance. How the communication between these machines are going to be. From outside world, how these machines will be accessed. From internal communication, how the communication is. Next, private public key, how it will be done. Okay, nothing but the network configurations has to be very strong between the DevOps category. Like, okay, right source should be talking to the right destination. Okay, like within the service, if one service wants to connect to the database, so does this service have the right to connect to this database? Is it connecting via the right database user? Okay, and if somebody else tries to connect, then we don't allow that connection. Next, within one service trying to call another service, maybe within the same AWS environment or Azure environment, how should that communication be? Should it be directly based upon IPs and ports, or should it be an aliases, like domain wise, registry wise, it should talk to one another? Okay, nothing but this DevOps knowledge means this networking configurations should be very thorough. Okay, how it should be as an ideal system. Okay, now the thing comes is this should also be automated. What does this mean? Okay, let's say tomorrow your production system crashes. Many times this happens in AWS. Okay, the hard disk completely crashes, corrupts. Okay, and even for paid accounts in AWS, at times the hard disk crashes and they say it's not recoverable data. Now, what are you going to do? You cannot just keep applying the changes on the machine. You have to have these configurations of the machine also backed up the way your repository code is backed up. Nothing but whenever you write any Java code, you put it into Git or Bitbucket or somewhere, right? Like that, the infrastructure code should also be written and committed into some cloud repository like Bitbucket or somewhere, so that if your hardware crashes in production or something corrupts, many times this happens, guys. Production may security attacks happen, and people say, okay, we have hijacked your database, and they even corrupt the database. Okay, now you have to be really careful. Okay, if some damage has happened, how do you recover your system back from there? Okay, and all that knowledge is you have to develop infrastructure as a code. So this is the terminology. And there are tools available like Ansible is used for that. Cloud formation templates are used for that, where this code is written in the form of some scripts. And these scripts are committed into Bitbucket. And like, even though the machine is lost, you just take this code from the Bitbucket, again, execute it, and the infrastructure will be created back again. So all network configurations, machine configurations, how much RAM, how much CPU. So you need to really have mastery first, how these configurations should be. Next, your second level should be, even though your system crashes, how can you really recover from scratch? Okay, those kind of things. Plus disaster recovery, like there has to be always master and slaves, even though your master system, guys, these are basics for every project. Even a Java developer or server backend person should know that you cannot run your production systems only based upon one server. It needs to have replica. There is a master database node. There has to be a slave database node, which is always real-time synced. Okay. Next, if the syncing fails anytime, it has to give an alert, and which should be monitored and checked in the system. Okay. So that kind of system has to be there. Plus, along with it, even disaster recovery cannot just within the same infrastructure, because if the slave is hosted where the master is hosted, that's going to be a problem. If the environment region, sometimes it happens. Okay, this happened like 2 years ago. Earthquake came where in our one data center, in AWS data center, earthquake came and the full region was down for 4 hours. Okay, AWS was not able to recover back the machines because earthquake came physically. The data center itself crashed then. And it took a lot of time to really get back to the systems and machines. Okay, so in such cases, application data can be restored. Okay, because you have like application data as in code, infrastructure, all that can be restored. But database data is everything. If the data is lost, business shuts down. Right? Data is everything. Okay, without data, companies cannot run. So data has to be protected. Okay, nobody should have access to this data. It has to be in a secured environment. It should be backed up at multiple places. Not so. How generally people do it is, they have in one region, the databases are involved. For disaster recovery things, in some other region also, they install the database. And not just that, this data will be timely exported and even held at some other third place also. By that way, data will be ensured that no matter what goes wrong, we can have the system back. Next, DevOps responsibility includes having proper snapshots being captured of these databases from time and time again. AWS is having a policy, maximum, if anything goes corrupted also, it can help you to recover data till last 5 minutes. Okay, so that kind of things are there. So I think, yes, so infrastructure means step one, really know this full big picture, how the networking configuration should be. Okay, RAM size, CPU size, which operating systems, how the internal network connections should be, whatever rules will be there, ports, how to manage and all that, ports, protocols, like how it is applied. Next, who is able to get access to what, authentication, authorization, those kind of things, IP whitelistings, those kind of things. Next, how to manage load balancers in the system, those kind of things. Okay, everything should be aware. Nginx is one of a software which is very widely, those people code there. So even know Nginx related programming language, how to work with that. Linux commands should be really very good, because that will be their day-to-day job. And fine, these are the things. Next, develop this infrastructure as a code. Okay, and that is via Ansible and CloudFormation. Have the code written and keep it in your repository time to time. Okay, that is another thing. Third, think about this database restoring and all those things, backing up the DB from time to time. Okay. Next, responsibility of DevOps, monitoring. Okay, everything, the health of the production system needs to be monitored. If the CPU is running 80% for 5 minutes, there has to be a monitoring in place. There has to be alerts which goes to your Teams, Slack, or emails, or wherever, so that people immediately act on it. If there is a RAM running high, if there is a disk space running high, or if there are exceptions in the production system, all those things needs to be actively monitored. There has to be dashboards which needs to be created, and there has to be alerting in place which tells the system. So monitoring is one very crucial thing. Without that, projects cannot go to production. Okay, so these are other aspects which again comes under the responsibility of DevOps. Okay, furthermore on DevOps, you need to manage multiple environments. We have non-prod. Okay, guys, this is knowledge is required for everybody, because this is where your code runs. So we have dev environment, QA environment, let's say UAT or stage environment, prod environment. So nothing but multiple environments will be there. Okay, now when you are making any modification, like a new service is being coded by the team, it needs to be installed, deployed, right? A new service, a new configuration, everything has to be hosted. So you need to make sure how this service actually will be set up in the dev, QA, stage, prod systems. Okay, you need to know when to set it up at what point. You cannot one time itself non-prod mein chal raha and production tak set up kar liya nahi. So you need to know how to work with what environment. That kind of maturity is very important to make that decision. Okay. Next, you have to automate stuff. Nothing but Jenkins is very widely used. So you need to really automate things via Jenkins, builds, deployments, okay, unit testing plugins, Sonar rules running. All those things have to be plugged in Jenkins, and you have to keep it doing always manually. Okay, nothing but tool based every time using Jenkins. Manual work should not be there. Okay, so these are a few of the things, and majorly DevOps work is more of R&D and POC. So whenever any task comes for DevOps, okay, so it cannot be that easily estimated. Okay, functional work can be easily estimated, but if a DevOps engineer has not worked on that item, so it is more of exploration for that guy. So what you should do is you should take a small POC, a small piece of code first. First, you need to say, I will first experiment this, how to do, and it is all about exploring, Googling, checking the configuration, what is working, what is not working. So first, always take some time for exploring, finalizing how to do things, what is going to be right, what is going to be wrong. Once you're done with that exploration, then you estimate it. And now this thing, you have to align it again as part of the sprint cycle. Okay, so as part of first you do the exploration, then you say, hey, so now total, if I want to apply it in this full project, okay, how it will go on the non-prod environments, and then you have to give the estimate for that. Okay, it is going to be this much, and DevOps guys have to work very closely with the application developers in order to test the changes. Okay, so that is where close coordination and communication has to be involved. So these are the things. Okay, so focus on all this: network configurations, security, monitoring, database backing up, code being organized, Ansible and all that, the cloud formation. Okay, and this is what it is. Okay, you just have to know how to do it rightly. Okay, fine, that is what will come as part of the DevOps related activities. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, rest of the guys are dropping messages like thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Okay. Now guys, apart from this, if you have more questions, put it in chat so we can take it up here itself. Where is my chat window? A second. If you have any specific questions, guys, just type it in chat. At least somebody type a hi. Let's see whether I'm getting the chat messages. Are you guys typing hi or something? Yeah. Okay. I'm getting it. Okay. So guys, Shenu, Shailendra, Santosh has said. Okay. Dhanraj has said hoy. Yeah. So guys, if there is any specific question, ask. Otherwise, we'll go to the next topic. What is the best way to learn DevOps? Okay. I think AWS basic course, if you take, so that will be the starting point. It will really guide you. The basic course of AWS. Okay. You can find it on maybe YouTube also. I think free sources will also be available. Otherwise, on Udemy, there are a lot of courses available. Just take the highest rating wala, where people have given really positive comments, and that is the starting point. Okay, as a database developer, what language is to be focused upon? Okay, I think the pehla to ye aata hai PL SQL. Okay, so that is everything. That's ultimate programming language. Next, SQL pe strong knowledge. Okay, SQL very strong knowledge, PL SQL very strong knowledge. Because lot of times the developer ka queries have to be corrected. So these two things are ultimate. Apart from that, scripting knowledge is very much required. Okay, nothing but Linux based scripting knowledge. So while you work with, let's say, anything, okay, database machines, yes, SQL, PL, SQL, and scripting knowledge will be required, like how to work with multiple configurations of MySQL, about backup commands, dump capturing, restoring the database. So that script knowledge should be very handy. Next, I would say recently now everything is going into cloud based, like RDS kind of machines, where even that kind of server access is not required for database anymore. It can all be managed via AWS consoles and UI consoles. So full database management is happening via just UI consoles, via the browsers itself. So you need to really explore even on those part of things, like how to manage RDS, where are the configurations available, how to apply all those configurations. That is another thing. Okay. So apart from that, I don't think any other knowledge is required. Okay. Scripting has to be strong from the machine perspective and AWS perspective. SQL should be strong, PL SQL should be strong, and DBA database guy should very closely have functional understanding. Okay, how to do database designing of tables, like what kind of queries perform badly, because we got some DBAs recently, okay, a few years ago, and they were not able to make these decisions, and that is really sad. Job of a DevOps, like database developer, is to really optimize queries of the system. The queries which are taking time, they should pinpoint, okay, here this join is wrong, change it like this, here the database structure is wrong, change it like this. So those decisions people were not able to do. So have that close eye, understanding queries strongly, understanding functional system properly. Tech leads will tell you or developers will tell you, but yes, you need to understand that, and then maybe change how the DB is designed, how the queries are written. Next, strong hold on partitioning, indexing, those kind of things. Again, those are like always things. You can maintenance, backups, restore, all those things are also pretty strong. Plus right management pe thoda sa be strong. Okay, who should be having access to what kind of things, when to use schemas, when to use directly core system tables, and what kind of people will be having views of that, and those all decisions making should be proper. Okay. And again, this another thing, database ka sabse interesting part happens is when the load grows in the system. Okay, simple queries will not work properly when database load is high. So if as a database person, you can really suggest on how to optimize this, and still, like as the system grows, still how it should be fast enough for giving the responses back. So that is, I think, an ultimate treat, and such people will be valued a lot, because every system is going to grow very faster. So how can you give faster responses? Now there are n number of ways of doing it. Solutions are many, but right knowledge is required. So keep exploring those areas. Okay. After a certain point, guys, technology or language is just becomes a easy thing, smaller thing. The focus completely changes to how do you build applications using those technology. This is applicable for any area, be it UI, server, DevOps, or anywhere. How do you use that technology to get the maximum value out of the project? Okay, fine. Guys, any more questions? Okay. Uske baad we have still like 20 minutes. Okay. Well, there is one question. How Scrum Master will divide how many QAs developer for a specific requirement? Okay. It just depends upon the amount of work. If the work is small, one person itself is enough. Okay. If the work is big and the work is possible to split between two people, then more than one QA will be coming up. Okay. So generally, I don't think it will be that like one person will be enough for doing it. So if there is a UI work, UI guy comes in, server work, server guy comes in, and QA work, QA guy comes in. Okay. Sometimes it could be the QA, one person might write test cases, another guy might do the testing. That's possible. Next, server related, if the feature is big, like 3 days feature or 4 days feature, in such cases, if you want to put two server developers, so it's all about combination. Okay. It's just about common sense. If I put two people here, can these two be able to fastly finish the feature? If it is possible, then it is okay to allow. If it is not possible, one person will itself take care of it. So it just comes like, oh, you'll just be able to make that decision looking at what that feature is. Okay, fine. Nowadays, are we using NoSQL DB in industry projects? Yes. The projects are having, like in our project, we have SQL database as well as NoSQL database. So both are having a different need. So based upon use cases, if there are use cases which will go via NoSQL database, so it doesn't make sense to store that into a SQL DB. So you have to install a NoSQL, write the data there, generally just update kind of query statements where JSON load, dump kar do, and NoSQL mein it keeps growing. So yes, there are a lot of projects where both the databases are used, and you need to have a very logical decision making mind. Okay, what kind of use cases should be stored in SQL DB and what kind of use cases should be stored in NoSQL databases? Okay. Okay. Okay, guys, fine. Chalo. Now moving on. Okay. As part of remaining 15 minutes for today's session, I'll just be touching on very key points which will be helping you guys on a regular basis in your industry to grow faster. Okay. We have already discussed many of these things earlier, but I'll quickly touch to the point so that all the new guys can also be able to relate with it and try to apply it at work. Okay. There are like 5 basic things you need to keep in mind. Okay. Every team has different types of employees, we can say. Okay. Or you can really consider or label an employee into multiple categories. Okay. Like few years ago, okay, one of a very senior manager explained me this when I started leading teams. Okay. He said ki every team member belongs into multiple category. It could be A, B, C, D, sometimes even E. Okay, different category. The A category people are the best people. Okay, they are the best people. They are the must-haves. We want them, and they are the top guys. And then accordingly, it keeps going down. A say below aata hai, B, फिर C, फिर D, and accordingly so on and so forth. Okay, and I have personally seen, plus my manager also said, that generally A category people are very less in the industry, as less as 2% people. That's it. Okay. And Shiva yesterday he told one thing, right? Scrum Master, he said this one thing about ownership leti nahi hai public. So that's a big problem in the industry. So these A players are the, okay, first technology wise experts. Next, they take hardcore responsibility of the project. They make sure that their work happens plus their full team's work happen. Plus they bring some innovations for improving the team members, for improving the project, for improving the clients. Okay. Some kind of initiatives will be taken where clients will feel more happy, and nobody tells them to do all this. They do it by their own choice. These are the A players. So it's not just technology wise great. Okay. It has to be technology great, attitude great, thinking about team, not about themselves. Next, going out of the bracket of taking many new initiatives, which is going to be good for them, good for the project, good for the team, and good for the clients. And they always try to keep improving everybody around them. Okay? These are the A players, and such people are very less in the industry. Okay? So always your target should be to become an A player, because they are rare and companies will not leave them at any cost. These are the people who will be executing big systems. Okay, so people trust them and they are required, and because of A players, big systems or big companies actually become successful. Okay, so this is what it is, becoming A player. Okay, second aata hai guys B player. B player is they are good. Okay, so A and the B, these are good people. So but B player utna initiatives nahi, okay, to not that level. Okay, what is a B player? Whatever is expected out of them, okay, they perform that. In fact, they even sometimes perform more than that without anybody telling them. So whatever, you just give them a task, they will get the work done. They will do all the coordination and all without somebody pushing them. They will do more than what is expected, but not like an A player. Okay, there is like A player different aayega. B mein, without pushing, self-responsible people who are taking care of their own work plus taking some assistance to the team and all that. But that is B player. Okay. Now the thing is, A and the B player are required. So whenever appraisals happen, or the industry is quite different. Okay, it's not always the appraisal that comes like a rate ki who is good or who is bad, because there are many big companies. No matter how great people perform, the appraisal portion is going to be very marginal or nominal. Okay, so that's what it is. But there will be some guys who will be getting promoted, so you need to always keep that eye. Okay, how can you take more opportunities even in tight systems? But just know it, A player and the B player, okay, people will not like to lose these people. Companies will not like to lose these two people. Okay, and that is where they will try to keep them happy. And by keeping them happy, matlab, in terms of pay, in terms of promotions, in terms of opportunities, because these are the people who can do great things for the project. But again, understand, both of these guys' attitude is very correct. Okay, so they give their best thing. Next comes C player. C player is, okay, whatever is expected out of this guy, okay, that guy is somehow able to meet it. And some pushing is required, monitoring is required. So he's meeting the requirements, but with push. Okay, by close monitoring, by asking questions, how is it going? How is it not going? Plus, this guy doesn't take much initiatives here and there. He's like, "Main mera kaam karunga," but that is also he's not able to do it by himself. Pushing is required. Okay, these are C category. Okay, and then there are D category people. Worse than that, they are not even able to get their work done. Okay, they are not even able to get their work done. Unko support karo, kuch bhi karo, their problem, life is a problem. Okay, and then there could be maybe somebody even E level bhi ho sakta if they want to create a differentiation. Generally big teams mein maybe E also they'll come. Okay, so देखो, just simple hota hai guys. Now think like if I am a manager, for me appraisal discussions or all these things becomes very simple. Okay, categorize the team into these 4 categories. Those who belong into the C layer, those who belong into the D layer, okay, I don't much care then about these people. Even with minimal hikes, chalo, if they are unhappy, it is fine, we will replace them. Okay, because they are not really good. The system will be D player ka to ye rehta bhai, usko system se nikal do, then the system is going to be better. You will get another person who is going to be better than that. Okay? So there were cases in my team, a few people resigned and I was really happy कि चलो चला गया जान छुटी साले से. So there were literally such kind of situations. Okay, but when good people resign, so that is a nightmare. Okay, so that is what, guys, if you're really good, you will be required for the world and everybody will want to have you. That's where be a valuable employee for the company, and not just for the company but for your sake. You will be getting more opportunities, more challenges, bigger pay, bigger promotions, and then you are required for the system. People would love to have you. But if you belong into the C and the D category, basically it's like useless. जरूरत भी नहीं है ऐसे लोगों की. तो D category का तो ये है फंडा, if they move out, that is good for the system. Okay? And people will not generally move these people out, but when layoffs and all these things happen, D category is the first category to be touched. कि भाई इधर से public को निकाल देते because burden बन रहा है ये system. Okay? Then once this is cleaned up, then focus comes on C category. And why C category? They will be like, we are able to get our work done. Na? But point is, these guys are able to do it with a lot of pushing, this, that. And concept of C categories, anybody can do their work. Okay, anybody can do their work. Whatever they are doing, they have not done it in so greater manner that only they are required. They do such a basic job. Anybody you pick up and an average guy can do that work. That is a C category. So there is no need of even such people. But yes, generally people will not remove them from the system, but just they will be okay. Even if this guy puts a resignation, moves out of the company, it is fine. That's okay, not a problem, because the projects will not be impacted. And if other guy comes and what if he's a B player, people will like to have it. So just understand, C and the D player ke liye, the market is really going to be bad. And they will keep complaining and crying and nothing is going to work out. But as you move up, B player, the companies need B player because self-dedicated hai, they are getting their own work done, they are taking a few initiatives, they are thinking about the team. So they are required. People will be like, we want B player. Next, A player also, the company wants it. But Abhi, now your entire journey of career should be becoming the A player as early as possible in your career. And guys, these are the people. If you have ego problem, attitude problems, and all that, you will never become A player. So you have to teach yourself, not just technically, but in terms of ownership, in terms of attitude, in terms of bonding with the team, in terms of thinking like this system is your system. You are going to drive that project to success. We said today morning 6:30 when we connected, like even this Brian Tracy was saying, ke bhai, commitment, like be excellent at your job, and then said ki think like you are a self-employed. We discussed these two things in like yesterday and today. Okay, hardcore commitment for excellence and thinking like a self-employed. These two are the mindsets of an A player. Okay, I have to become best at what I do, and then thinking like self-employed means this is my project and the project should be successful, not just independent. These are like leaders, these are high quality people. So your all journey should be to belong in A as early as possible, and the sooner you reach, that's how wonderful it will be. Okay, so this is what I would like to say. So become an A player. It's a journey to go there. Nobody goes there in one shot, but start working on yourself one by one to go to that layer, become valuable for the industry, and that's how you will be useful. Okay, that is one. Okay, fine. Now, second thing, these are core thought process of an IT professional. Okay, so second important thing, guys. There is a lot of nonsense in the industry about 10 to 7 working boundaries, work-life balance. Okay, there is a lot of things around it. Many things are right, many things are wrong. I'll just tell you my perspective. Okay. We all have limited time, 24 hours a day, 7 hours a week. Okay. Now just think logical. When the company hires someone, okay, and is billing happening, when the billing is happening for 8 hours, 9 hours a day, let's say 10 to 7, what does business want? What does a company want? Okay, when the company is paying for 8 or 9 hours of work, The company expects that person for that 8-9 hours should work dedicatedly for my project. That's where the companies pay. That's where the billing happens. And you know that the work is going to be so much, okay, कि sometimes वो 9 घंटा 10 घंटा भी हो जाता है, weekend also. So that means, okay, if you are in a really good project, you will not find time to learn. Okay, because project ka pace itself will be so much things to do. It's like always challenging, new and new thing happening. It's like very quickly learn, very quickly apply, learn, apply very fast. And that's the reason even when working people also, when they want to switch to a job, they take some time out for preparation and studying and stuff like that. Now, the conclusion is, when your billing has happened for 9 hours, the expectation is 9 hours you work on that feature. That means learning time is almost nothing. You just have to execute it, learn fast, apply fast, that's it. So you will not be paid much in order to learn something. Business works based upon by give us results. That's where the billing is happening. Yes, sometimes we might say, no, we want to even train and all that. But generally for fast-paced projects, you have to do things fast. Now the funda is, yes, you do your job 10 to 7. But if you're not really learning anything in that time, just one way is, yes, practically whatever you do for the project, you will learn something from that. But deeper understanding and deeper learning and exploration time itself will not be there. Okay. And if you don't get that time, your knowledge doesn't go to the next level. And in the end, you will be like, okay, for 1 year, I worked on the project, pretty complicated thing. We did multiple things. But did you really take time to deep dive into concepts and technology and explore a lot of things by your own? And honestly speaking, if you just think a 10 to 7, 9 to 5 mindset, Monday to Friday wala, I will work only this time, remaining of my time is my personal life. These are how average people think. Because if you also think like that, you will not put efforts for your own growth. And the growth doesn't happen in 10 to 7. This is average industry expectation. You will be doing your best. Company ka business chal jayega, they will be successful, clients will be happy, everything is going to be good for companies because they are paying you for that. You're accordingly justifying, client is happy, company is happy. But the only person who loses in this game will be you. Why? Because even in the end of 1 year, you will get very minimal knowledge because you said, I will do only 10 to 7, 9 to 5. Fine. Companies will be okay, ठीक है भाई, बाहर मत कर, it is fine for us. थोड़ा बहुत business up down होगा, but that doesn't matter much. Okay, if one person does here and there, nothing matters. But in the end, the losing end pay, that person will be there who sticks with these boundaries. Now guys, I want you to, when you think about a player or becoming best in your industry, you need to break these boundaries. Apart from these time that you're putting at your work, how much additional time are you investing in your self-growth? And that is the differentiator between success and unsuccessful people. And I'm not saying that too much laga do yaar, but we have a lot of time. 8 hours per day nikalne se, you still have 2/3 of the day with you, plus 2 weekends with you, 48 hours. It is a lot of time. Can you spend at least 10%, 20% of that time in your own personal development, which will give you bigger packages, bigger promotions? And then you have to say, you're not working for companies, man, you're working for yourself. Going back to what Brent SE said, we are all self-employed. All throughout your life, you work only for yourselves. The project that you do will give you the knowledge. The challenges that you face will make you stronger. The courses that you take, the knowledge that you upgrade will make you bigger and capable. So you can get the job anywhere. You can get bigger packages anywhere. You can rise up the ladder anywhere. So just understand, guys, break this 10 to 7 Monday to Friday bond, because that is for average people. And that is going to, the only person who gets affected with that will be that employee who sticks with that routine. Companies will get benefited, clients will get benefited. Only that person will suffer, because after 2 years, knowledge nahi rahega, and then life will become struggling. Okay, to break the boundaries, apart from in this time, how much additional time you have. From there, dedicate yourself more time for growth, and that's how success will be built up. Okay, so just understand. This is how great people think, and then they do. Thoda life ko understand it as a whole. Don't get stuck with what your negative minded team members or company members might also think. You need to think advanced than the rest of the people. Then only you will be more advanced results. Otherwise, you will be a part of crowd, and the crowd is not going anywhere. Okay, fine. That's the second mindset. Okay, so third one. Okay, always cross the expectation. Okay, this is ultimate. Whatever the people around you expects from you, try to over deliver. Live by this rule all throughout your life, guys. Always try to over deliver. That's it. Okay, any project you are in, any meeting you are in, anywhere you are in the entire IT industry, whatever is your role expecting out of you, always keep an eye, usse aage jana hai. I have to give better quality, faster speed, and greater results, taking the team together, even though it's my independent job, but how I can do it along, aage. Okay? Always try to perform better than what is expected out of you, because when you do that, you will get recognized, people around you will notice it, and then they will bring more opportunities to you. And if you just do whatever is expected, they will not give you opportunities, because they will be like, अरे जितना expected है वही करने के लिए first fight चल रही है. How, why to give more challenges? Because people will not get confidence whether you can solve those challenges. Okay, people at the top or anybody who is looking at you, if you do only what is expected out of you, people feel maybe he's not capable to do more. So how can I give even challenging work for this guy? Maybe he's not possible to do it. Okay? But when you start outperforming at every single task that you get, that showcases your capability, and then that will give you more opportunities. And with opportunities comes learning, promotions, money, and up the ladder in the companies. So guys, that's the secret of success. Your actions will create opportunities for you. And if you don't take it, and don't tell all this crap, ki bhai pehle pay me more, then I will work. It doesn't work like that. The world doesn't work with like that. Okay, even if you're given 5 crore and says ki bhai run this project, run this company, okay, you will not be able to do it. It's not the matter of money, it's matter of capability. Okay, I will not be able to run a full company having like 500 people, even though no matter kitna paisa pay kar. Okay, it's not possible. We have to grow mentally. Okay, we have to grow in our thinking, actions, problem solving skills, pressure handling skills, swiftness in response situation. And how that happens, that maturity needs to grow, and then the money comes. Okay, so just come back here. It's not about the money. It is all about how much great you become, and that will pour in all the money that can come to you. And IT industry, there is a lot of money. Okay, compared to any other industry, और ये पता है कि नॉन आईटी में जाओ, you will realize 5 लाख का वैल्यू क्या होता है. 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs a year. People will be like, वाह क्या अच्छा होगा. 10 lakhs a year, they will be so happy. आईटी में आओ, 2 साल एक्सपीरियंस का बंदे को 10 लाख है, and he is like 10 लाख से कुछ नहीं होता भाई, 15 चाहिए, 20 चाहिए. नॉन आईटी के बाहर जाओ, थोड़ा मालूम पड़ेगा. 5 लाख देख के पब्लिक 5 लाख सैलरी है. वो बेचारे गवर्नमेंट जॉब वालों को पकड़ो, 30,000 अभी तक कमा रहे, कब से कमा ही रहे उतना. 30,000 अपने लिए फ्रेशर लेके निकल लेता है. 30,000. Right? Just understand, there is lot of money in the IT industry. Okay, and you need to really pour as maximum, and the only way of doing it is become good, become great, and all the money will come to you. Okay, this is how it will be happening. Okay, fine. Now moving on to the next thing. Okay, Sanjeevani, do you have a question? Please put it in chat. Okay, ठीक है. Now चलो, तो ये हो गया guys. Third हो गया, always crossing the expectation. Okay, now the next thing, constant knowledge upgrade. We have already spoken about it. Daily spend time in 2 things, guys. One, okay, your skill upgrade, and the second one is your knowledge upgrade. Okay, always spend time on this thing. Fine, this is what we would like to say. Okay, and one just last thing before we close the day, guys, today. Therefore, you should spend time with really good and capable people. Okay, growth minded people, not negative people. Okay, make friends, build bonds with capable people who wants to put efforts, who wants to do something in their life, not like excuse giving, complaining people. You have to choose the friends who are growth minded. In the company, you should spend time with positive minded, growth minded people. Okay? Because only such people are going to become great in their life. And if you surround yourself with good people, you will also become good. Your thinking, dedication, you will have that learning hunger. I have to do this, I have to do that. If you hang out with average people and losers, you will also become like them. Okay, time waste, laziness, and all those small problems, which does not even matter. If you have a purpose for growth in life, now all the problems will disappear. But if you don't have that fire to do something big in your life, these problems will become so much big for you and you will not be going anywhere. So the last thing I would say, Kibai, the friends that you choose in your regular life plus in your companies, hang out with growth minded people only, because these people in 10 years from now, they will become very powerful, because only growth minded people will get growth. Excuse giving people will always give excuses throughout their life and they will never be rewarded with bigger positions. Okay? So right from today onwards, the last input which I want to share you is analyze your friend circle, analyze your workplace circle, see who are the really good and strong players there, A player, B player, and then try to establish more bonds with them and leave the C and the D category, go more towards A and the B, and then guys maintain network and relationship with them. Okay, not just at office, but a friendship bond banauns. Put some effort into this. Okay, even like over weekend, at times call them. कि भाई क्या चल रहा है? What are you studying these days? अब market में ये हो गया, वो हो गया. Chat GPT के through so much things happen. Right? Just keep discussing what is the new trend happening, what is this happening, that happening. When that keeps happening, the bonding will be more. And even if let's say you move to a different company or they move to a different company, still maintain those bonds, because these friendship bonds in future will open opportunities from you in multiple angles. So don't take these networks for granted. Build a strong network so that your future you will be able to enjoy really very nicely. But if you build friends with C and a D category, in future they will struggle. And if you are part of them, you will also keep struggling. And the people around you, guys, this is interesting. A and the B people, they will know that these guys don't put efforts. So when you're putting efforts and growing and all, you will automatically realize who in your team does not put efforts. And then it kya hota hai, guys? When you see somebody not putting efforts and you are doing things, the good people will never refer you or recommend you. Why? Because good people ka ek image ban jata hai. Because wherever they are, they would be really good. So if they are supposed to refer somebody, they will refer only good people, not struggling people like C or D wale. Because if they refer them and these guys come there, so it is going to be a reputation damage for even good people. कि कैसे कैसे बंदों को refer कर रहा है, काम करने भी नहीं आया. These kind of comments, literally, I have heard कि this kind of comment just pass by. कि कैसे लोगों को refer कर दिया यार, उनको आ रहा ही नहीं, समझ ही नहीं रहा है. They are not even able to understand. How can you even refer such people? And there is a big metrics, okay? Like in my company, whenever a referral program runs, people say कि always hire somebody who is equal than you or better than you. Don't hire anybody who is lower than you in your capability. That's how companies become better. Okay? So just know it. The last value add for today is hang out with growth minded people, because that's where the results are. Okay? Fine. All the very best. Let me quickly share the attendance and then let's close the day. Guys, take all the value and start implementing into your lives. Okay, you guys have potential. You are into the week 3, you have dedication and everything. These all things, if it becomes a practical way of living, automatically life is going to go pretty good. Okay, fine. Let me share it. Code for today's 5555. And देखो guys, these all things will take some time. Okay, guys, I'm trying to put 12 years in front of you of what's right, what's wrong. Now you need to now step by step improve in yourself. It will take time, maybe 3 years, 5 years bhi lag sakta hai, but try to reach here sooner, because prepare your own roadmap of success, everybody. Okay? And again, like that last one is really important. like all throughout my career, I never spent even a single day with excuse giving people in my entire 12 years of IT industry. Okay, there were some people, if you just talk to them, कि भाई क्या चल रहा है life में, they will tell all the pain to you. अरे ये हो गया, अरे वो हो गया. एंड मैं एक दिन उससे बात किया, लाइक नेक्स्ट टाइम से नहीं नहीं यार उसका नहीं सुनना है, वो बहुत टॉर्चरिंग बातें करता है. लाइक यस, प्रॉब्लम्स आर देयर, टॉक अबाउट सॉल्यूशंस. How are you planning to solve them? Because that's the right approach. Problems will always be there, is everybody. All of us right now has our own problems. But if we keep discussing only problem, like we are not going to get out of it. Talk about solutions. How are you planning to handle it? Is it working? Is your strategy working? What's the plan? In how much time you are planning to overcome it? What do you need for preparing for that? And then that's the way you should think. Okay. Otherwise, you will think reverse, and that is going to backfire. Fine. Okay, guys. So, chalo, everybody. We have next 2 days as the final session of final 2 days of this January batch, and like Thursday and Friday. And next we will be meeting up on 6th of February with the new session. Okay. So make these things as part of your life. Okay. So thank you all and have a nice day, everybody. Take care. See you guys later. Bye, team. Take care.